Welcome back to Cuda Cave here. I've branded my YouTube channel, so I hope you enjoy what you've been watching. Here we are, very exciting day. Finally got my frame rails in, and so I got my trusty creeper here, folds down. I'm going to be living on this thing for the next little bit, cutting the old rails out, fitting the new ones in, welding it in. I'm going to try and weld them in from the trunk pan down, but if I can't, then I'm going to weld up. I'd rather not weld up. I just don't think it's going to be as secure, but we'll venture that way when we get to it. So the frame rails, lefts and rights, they seem to be real heavy duty. On the back side here, we got the bracket for the emergency brake cable. We got all sorts of holes. The bumper mounts in here. Sorry, not the bumper, yeah, bumper mounts for the axle. They're already in, drilled, tapped, plate in the back. Same with the back. We got the mounts for the shot for the axle, and for the springs, and for the back bumper. So I'll show you what we're going to cut out on the bottom here, and we'll get the grinder out, and we'll make some things happen. So here we are, guys. We're under the car now. As you can see, there's the old frame rail. We'll turn some light here so you can see what's up in here. So it's pretty shook. I'm gonna go at it a little more careful than what I did the rest of the stuff. Up in the front corner here, I know I'm gonna have to grind that out. Back when my dad had the car and he was working on it, he capped the frame rail. But I got looking at it closer and closer, and especially up in that top corner there, there's nothing left of it. So I opted to change the frame rails. So we'll go from front to back. We'll change all these. We'll take a measurement off the shock mounts here as well, and we'll get those, get that placed in properly. So what I've done here now, we've blocked it up. We can't get jack stands under here to make it safe. So I opted to put cinder blocks, big timber, and they're just under the floor pans on the back. But we're covering enough area that we're not going to damage anything. I may end up having to move this one forward so we can get the bottom side of that rail. But we'll get some tin snips out, we'll get a grinder out, and we'll start removing this and see how it fits. So the first thing that I want to do, this is the mount for the rear valance that comes down, has the two ports for the exhaust in it. So we'll take this off. Off camera, I already tried one. The bolt snapped in here, which is no big deal. We're putting in a new frame rail. The holes are already there. This one here, take it off. There we go. We'll clean that up at a later date. Like I say, this just holds the rear valance on, so we'll clean that up later. So what we want to do now is take these two bolts out. These are the bumper mounts. So once these are out, then we can get at the frame underneath here. I did try these off camera to see if they'd come out easily. They won't. So it's no big deal. We'll put in new bolts. We'll just cut the heads off of these. Well, my time lapse of cutting the bolt heads off, I had the camera pointed the wrong way. So as you can see here, I do have the bolt heads cut off of this now. So we'll just beat them bolts out the other side. And there's the bumper mount. So we'll clean that up at a later date as well. Throw it up there for the time being. There's the original color on here, plum crazy purple. I'll get the light up here a little better so you can see. Nope. So yeah, plum crazy purple was the original color on this car. So now that we've got that out of there, now we can proceed with cutting out the old frame. I'll get repositioned here, get some tools happening. Very excited to get the new frame rails in. So we're under here now, we're looking at the frame rail. So what I want to do right now, I want to get a measurement. Before I cut anything out, I want to be sure I know exactly from this point running up to the shock mounts what that distance is, because I'm going to be taking this right out. It's not welded up top. It's only connected through the frame rails right now. So the plan is I'm going to do one side at a time, starting with the driver's side. So that shock mount cross member, it'll be coming out as one piece. So that way I can clean it up and get it back in there. But it's in great shape. So while I'm doing that, I'm just going to take a measurement, and that way we know exactly where this is placed. So we'll come back here, and we are 30 inches to that flange. So I'll grab my soapstone here. That way I don't have to go and get the paper right away. So let's put I'll just write it on that cross member for now. That way it's for reference, it's there, I'm not gonna forget. Next time I'm up, I'll write it down on my piece of paper here. So I'll start removing this and we'll show you the process. Okay, because I know this is really thin and punky, I'm just gonna use a pair of tin snips for now. We'll come under here. Yeah, this section is going to be real easy to pull out. So we'll just keep snipping in here. I might have to eat my words on being thin, punky, and able to cut it. It may require the grinder. Get that piece out of the way. We're gonna have to break out the grinder on this, I believe. This side's nice and thin, the other side not so much. Must have been the spot that collected all the sand and salt and whatnot when this thing was winter driven. I've never seen it winter driven, but I'm sure in its day it was. So as I'm trying to get this back piece out of here, I thought, okay, it's just going to drop out, that's just bolted in. Well, I come to find that it's spot welded. There's 4 little spot welds that also hold that on. So I'm just going to drill out those spot welds. I was considering just changing this, but there's nothing wrong with this piece. Yeah, there's a little wiggle up in here, but nothing major. It's in good shape. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to drill these out. See what it looks like in behind. If it is shot, then this is a fairly inexpensive part. I'm not welded to the trunk pan yet back here. Sorry, I got my camera off on the angle there. But I'm not welded to the trunk pan yet. So all I'm going to do is drill out these spot welds, let this piece fall out, and we'll carry on removing the rest of the frame. So guys, here we go. So we'll take this clamp off now. There we go. So we've got the tail piece out. Okay. We did sustain a little bit of damage, but you know, it's not the end of the world. We'll put a patch in here. We'll just cover this up. We'll weld it in. We can grind them welds down flush. As long as I keep this part of the hole, that way we can line up the frame rail where it needs to be, and we'll go from there. So now we just have the task of removing the rest of this. Bear with me. All right guys, so we'll carry on. We'll remove this frame rail out of here. I'm just gonna fast forward through this. So I got a cut. I'll figure it out as I go. Once we get the driver's side figured out, the passenger side will go a whole lot easier, I'm assuming. So we'll just work on this. We'll get this old one taken out and we'll line up the new one. So for anybody that's worked on these old cars, you know, you find little hidden gems here and there. Well, as I'm cutting out that frame rail, start to see a little extra smoke, not from the grinder. So inside that frame rail, those in southwestern Ontario, here in Canada, mice are a problem. And well, if they find a little hole, they go in, they make a nest. Well, it turns out they love making a nest in these frame rails. So I'm grinding away, I see some extra smoke. Turns out there's a little bit of a nest in there. So here's all the water that I poured down. Luckily for me, I'm nowhere complete, so the water went down that hole. Right down in there. So once we know that this is out, I got some more water banked up and ready to go. I'm gonna cut the bottom side off the rail, clean it out, and carry on cutting the rest out. Alright guys, so for right now, we got this side all freed up. I'm gonna cut out the side on the passenger side, that way we can get the cross member out of the way, and then we can cut this out. The frame rail, it's all sistered up. We got a cap on there, so we'll grind out and free this all up, and we'll fit the new one. So here we are guys, we got the frame rail all pulled out of here, and as you can see there's a little bit of damage on the floor pan on the back seat here, so we'll patch that hole up. A little more down in here. The mounts up in the corner here, they're a little bit of a task to get out, but we ended up getting those all ground out flush. Got another big hole right here. So we'll figure out how to patch those. A little bit of pan repair along the edge there. And I did opt to sandblast all this so that it had a nice clean finish on there. I'll probably grind it a little bit more just to bring down some of the spot welds, massage it. But hopefully the next video, you'll see the frame rail getting placed in here, welded in, and then we'll carry on with the passenger side. Same thing, and I'll try and do this a little bit quicker, a little more detailed, maybe not detailed, but the process as I go along. Till then guys, like, subscribe, leave a comment, love seeing the comments, and until the next video, enjoy your Mopars.